Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to another edition of Pin the Name, the place on the donkey. Now then, where do you think Doris the donkey has wandered to today? Where do we think we are? Yes? Yes? Let's see if you're right as we pin the place, pin the name on the donkey. Here we go. In it goes. Were you right? Yes, there we are. We're in the 9 arches. Well, we're on top of the 9 arches here in Tredegar. There's the heads of the valleys. Oh, in the dusk there's the heads of the valleys road. Now, why on earth have I brought you here? Well, because I see this as a way, a road, a place where people go on a journey, And I want to read to you about the journey that Mary and Joseph went to. As you look down the road there, I want you to imagine, we're not sure if a donkey went with them, but the journey Mary and Joseph went to when they were going from Galilee, Nazareth, to Bethlehem. In the days of Caesar Augustus, he issued a decree that a census should be taken of the entire Roman world. This was the first census that took place with Quirinius was governor of Syria, and everyone went down to his own town to register. So Joseph also went up from the town of Nazareth in Galilee to Judea, to Bethlehem, the town of David, because he belonged to the house and line of David. He went there to register with Mary, who was pledged to be married to him and was expecting a child. Can you imagine them going out on that road? While they were there, Bethlehem, the time came for the baby to be born, and she gave birth to her firstborn, a son. She wrapped him in cloths and placed him in a manger, because there was no room in the inn. Now, I don't know about you, about journeys, and it's always very dangerous for men to talk about pregnancy, but I don't think that was a pleasant journey for Mary and Joseph. Mary being pregnant, a census has been called by the governor of the Roman Empire, while Quirinius was the local governor, and they've got to go down and register. Joseph has to go down from Galilee in the north of Israel, Nazareth in the north, down to Bethlehem. And he's got to take his pregnant wife with him. I don't think it was a nice journey. It would have been a very dangerous journey. And when they get there, they arrive in Bethlehem, and it's time for Mary to give birth, but there's no room for her to be comfortable. There's no room for her in the inn. Did she go to a stable? Did she go to a cave? We're not sure, but we do know that she went and gave birth to where animals were kept, and she gave birth to a baby, wrapped him in cloths and put him in a manger. Now, in our idyllic Christmas card scenes, it's a lovely manger, it's a lovely stable or a lovely cave, but of course, can you imagine what was usually put in a manger? It was the animal slops. It was the food. The animals would drool all over it, and that's where she put her baby. That's where she put the Lord Jesus Christ, the Son of God. Can I ask you a question? Do you like to go out of your way for people? And you'll tell me, well, it depends who those people are. I was in a shop the other day, and this boy came, and he asked this lady, he was a bit of a rough lad, perhaps, bit of a rough Jack the lad, bit cheeky, and he asked the lady, could he buy her 2 croissants? That's what he asked. Could he buy her 2 croissants? And the lady said no. The lady had one looked at him and said, no, I'm not buying you croissants. He looked a bit rough, I'm not doing it. You know, we don't like to go out of our way for people who we think who are, as it were, pulling the wool over our eyes, who are not deserving. Think of the Lord Jesus Christ. Think of who the Bible tells us he is. He's the eternal Son of God. Where was his home? Heaven was his home for eternity. Perfect, beautiful heaven. And what did he do? He left the glory of heaven, and he came down to this earth and was carried by his mother and put as a little baby in an animal trough. God and man in one person, the Lord Jesus Christ, who had left heaven, the glory of heaven, to be placed in an animal trough. And he came here, as we've looked and as we will look, to save us from our sin and to bring us back to God. He didn't come here for people who deserve his love. You know, what have you done with God over your life? What we've done usually is we've said, oh God, I don't want you to rule my life. Perhaps you're religious and you'd say, well, I'll have a little bit of religion, but certainly I'm the boss of my life. Perhaps you're not religious and you've told God, push off, I don't want you at all. And for us as sinners, God the Son left the glories of heaven, added humanity to his divine nature, and came to earth and was willing to be placed in an animal trough for us. Why? So that he could grow and live the perfect life that we can't live, and that in the end he would go and die on the cross, taking the punishment for our sin, and that he rose from the dead. So if we trust in him, we can be restored to God. I want to give you a scenario. Imagine that the Queen says, I've had enough of Buckingham Palace. Okay, it's all grand, it's all gold, but I've had enough. I'm coming to live in Tredegar. I'm coming to live in Gechi Road, or I'm coming to live in Aneirin Terrace, or I'm coming to live in Tredegar. It just wouldn't happen. The Queen's not going to leave her wealth and come to live in Tredegar, isn't she? But the Son of God, the one who through all the world was created, left the glories of heaven, added humanity to his divinity, and was willing to be placed as a baby in an animal trough because he loved you so much. Now then, this Christmas, what are we going to do with the Son of God, the Lord Jesus Christ, who loved us so much? But as we say farewell, shall we look at our beautiful donkey, Doris the donkey, and say, where are you going to be next time, Doris, as we play Pin the Place on the Donkey? Cheerio!